quiet that is? Welcome back to the living room. The echo is going to be a little annoying. We're in the process of building a new shop, so that's what we're doing here. Cars going by. Just picked up this new table saw from Home Depot. It's the cheapest table saw I could find that had a cast iron top. It was right in my price range, got good reviews. Obviously there's some assembly required. Alright, jumping right in. Tools needed. This is what you're going to need. Framing square, speed square, combination square. This thing's going to be square. Phillips head screwdriver, flathead screwdriver. Some metric wrenches. This baby's made overseas, so everything we use is going to be metric today. 14 millimeter, 13 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter, and they say you need a 4 millimeter. I don't have one of those, so I'm going to use this feed wrench. That might not be politically correct. What do you call this thing? You know. 3/8 inch ratchet, 3/8 inch drive and 1/4 inch drive for my drill, 13 millimeter socket, 8 millimeter socket. Always good to have a knife, drill, lots of paper towels, shop rags, whatever you need. This thing's covered in grease so it doesn't rust in the store, so I imagine there's going to be some cleanup on our hands. C-clamps, don't have those, got these clamps. And then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 millimeter hex keys. They give you the little Allen wrenches in here. I think our lives are going to be a little easier if we use, you know, something on the drill or something on a ratchet. And then Phillips head driver for my drill, in case we need that. Let's crack it open. Babe, can I use your muscles?
Can I be in your video?
I don't know.
I'm just going to separate what's under here.
This is like the heavy part.
Here.
That's heavy.
What?
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your help.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. Unpacking, unpacked. Installing the table leg extensions. Lift the saw and motor housing from the box. Got that. Position it on the boards as shown. Great. You didn't say I needed boards. It's alright, we can work with that. 6 bolts, 6 washers, 6 nuts. Assuming these are the table leg extensions, start there. One thing that's really nice is they give you this little pack of hardware, and on the back of the pack it shows you what step you need each bolt, nut, washer, and that kind of thing for. Really love that. Apparently there's a front and the back. Alright, come on. Assembling the leg stand. 4 millimeter hex bolt. Small pack. Hardware. I put a 3/8 inch drive onto my drill. Set the clutch to 10 so I don't over tighten anything. That's how to speed up the process. Come on. Everything's so greasy and slippery. Gross. Oh, hold up. I think I'm putting it on inside out. The front of the stand is the section with the English warning label. Warning label. Where are you? Side. Aha. Front. This piece goes inside like that. I'll get places. Alright, next we're going to remove this styrofoam block that's in here. I think it should just kind of right under the electric motor. Maybe if we, that's it. Twist the angle gauge to angle the blade, which is also attached to the motor. It'll flip right out of there. Next it says to install this dust shroud. It does say front. So there you go. The warning label should be in the front. It's facing me so you can't see it. One thing it doesn't show, but it does show in the picture, or it doesn't say, but it does show in the pictures, is that this big bulge. We've got a big bulge on this side, and then some blade storage on the other side with some other couple things. There's one of these sides of this stand has 4 holes in it, and the other one has no holes in it. Warning label's front. These holes go on the same side as this big bulge thingy. Majiggy. My guess is it just makes room for the engine, motor, whatever you call it. Bolts, washers, bolts, tighten, and then I think we'll be putting some wheels on. Basically, we slide on in. We do have some holes to line up here, and it just takes a little bit of shimmying. I think one of these is on backwards. So it turns out I did have this part on upside down. And what you want is basically when this pedal goes up to have the wheels go down, and I had it the other way, so this one went up while those went down, and it just didn't quite fit. And one thing I found that was really helpful is just to, it says to attach this and tighten them down first. If you install the caster wheels into the frame itself, then you've kind of got something to work with here, because since you don't have like 10 hands, it makes life a little tricky. And the other thing is, installing these little bolts, these things are just like grease to the gill, so it's impossible to hang on to anything. If you just grab onto the caster itself, because we have so many sheets of metal here trying to all line up at once, all attached with bolts, just shake this while you turn, and they go in really easy. So if you just lift up and down and just do like a vibrating motion and turn it at the same time, they all go in. Foot pedal goes down, casters come up. Feet just clip on. And this is why we left those holes open. Come on.
It's good to do everything really fast. You do everything in your video really fast, but you actually did do that.
No, this one slowed down so they can hear us talk.
Right now?
Yeah. We have to do this. Move these. So we're going to slide it back, and then it has to be tipped onto its back first. So that's the back.
Just go this way.
Pull back like this. And then I'm going to take this out of here. And then tip it this way.
It's got feet all over it.
Yep. Now it has to go up.
Okay.
It's so greasy.
Why do I put grease on it?
So it doesn't rust.
Yeah, Dave, I already told you that. I didn't know that. Remember how I told you already?
No, you did not tell me. Oh, you did tell me that already.
Whew. And then with any luck, you should be able to push on this pedal And now it rolls. It doesn't roll very well on cardboard.
Well, which way are you trying to roll it? It won't go that way.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Good thing I'm here.
This way. And then do this. Okay, thanks.
All right, have fun.
Wheels first, washer second, knobs third. It says this acts as like a tightening device, so. So it's important to note that these screws inside of the throat plate are for adjusting the height of the throat plate. Because basically what you want is you want this to slide in here. It fits perfect. It's held in by a magnet. And you want this to be completely level. Now I can see I've got a lip right here and I'm a little high right there. So that's where these come in. And you can reach right down through these little holes. And you basically just want to level this thing out. If you want a good light source, you can grab your framing square, put this guy on here, and basically just take your time raising and lowering these screws so wherever you put your square, you don't see light through it. That's going to increase your precision and stop stuff from getting stuck on there. So take a second to do that. Okay, onto the rail assembly. Right side is the long side, front, back. Short side, long side. I'm going to break out this little Allen wrench they sent me. This is going to be easier for the set screws. We want to be a little more precise with these babies, not drive them home. This rail has 2 spots for these set screws and keys, one on the top. Oh, shoot. Before I do that, bottom one has to go in. You gotta do them both at the same time. If you do one before the other, you'll never get them in there. Speaking from experience. Line it up as best we can. Tighten them down. Not too tight, because this is aluminum, but tight enough so that we're not going to move anywhere when we're using our rail. Do these 2, one for the back, and then I think we got to screw them on there. Just gonna slide this thing on and see where we're looking. Having some trouble sliding this, but it's alright. I need to loosen this to loosen the tension on this fence. My guess is it's 13. Oh yeah, buddy. Okay. So I want this. I've got the blade up. And I've got the rail pressed up against it. And now what I want to do is I've got 2 red dots here, 2 red lines. I'm just going to keep moving the rail over until my red lines line up exactly with 0. And that shouldn't take too much. Once I've got that, I'll tighten up these 4 inside bolts that are against the cast iron. Then that rail will be set. I'll do the same over there. And then I'll tighten up these outside edges. So what worked best for me was to just get this fence set right, get this as level as I could, get the 0 marked on the cast iron, because the cast iron, I mean, you can tweak these outside leaves, but the cast iron you're not moving, it's just too sturdy. So the directions say this, and this is what worked out for me, is just to get those fences set on the cast iron, Make sure your zero's on, and then basically just get down with a level, a framing square, or the combination square, or the speed square. I think they recommend a few different kinds, but I think that's mostly just so you can really get your angles right and look for light under that level, or under that square. If there's light coming through, that means there's a gap. And then just adjusting accordingly. You've got you've got 2 screws here, 2 there, 3 here. So if you just level it, tighten them a little, tweak them, tighten them, loosen them, tweak them. Just got to be patient with it. I've got this pretty well leveled out. There are some imperfections, like this. I mean, it's not a big deal, it just makes a noise. But you can hear it hit, and then you can hear it hit again. I mean, I think that's just because when you bring all these parts together, between you assembling it and the manufacturer producing these by the hundreds, I think there's just going to be those little imperfections. But overall, it seems fine. I'm not really going to worry about this because eventually I'll put a router table or something in here and I'll have to level it again anyway. For right now, I don't see myself really using that much of that anyway. Last thing to do, I think, is throw on the switch. I'm going to hold off on all this safety wear for right now. Manufacturer says to install it. I should probably say to install it. Do that on your own time. I'm going to leave mine off for now. Not saying I'll leave it off forever, but as far as this video goes, we're going to throw the switch on and plug it in, test it, see how it goes. So you hear how quiet that is? That's good. This thing barely moves when you turn it on. Wow, really impressed. Haven't cut anything with it, but it sounds good. So if you're thinking about, I mostly wanted to make this video. It wasn't very in-depth or anything like that, but I found when I was looking for a table saw, I just wanted to get a good video of, it was basically like getting your hands on this thing and kind of seeing how big it was and what the dimensions of it are. Hopefully you liked it. Most of the time I do other videos, project videos, goofing around in the shop, so feel free to check those out. I'll link a couple of my favorites down in the description. Like and subscribe if you are into this. If you want more tool reviews or tool assemblies or tool unboxings, as I put together the new shop, there's going to be a lot of that stuff kind of coming out, along with some home renovation stuff, because we are in the midst of some construction. So stay tuned. Always trust your guide, and we'll see you next time.